Okay, a very warm welcome to Alan, Michael, Rashmi, and all the others who are pouring in. As we speak, we are live on YouTube as well. So, very warm welcome to everyone who's joining us there. All right. Okay, Oscar. I think let's dive in and make the most of this hour ahead of us. All right. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone joining from the various parts of the world. Welcome to this fireside chat. I'm your host today, and I'm excited to introduce our esteemed guest, Mr. Oskar Kawecki. He is Safe Practice Head at upGrad KnowledgeHut and a renowned SPCT and a lean agile expert. Now, before we dive into our conversation, let me give you a little bit of an introduction about upGrad KnowledgeHut for those of you who are not well versed with it. upGrad KnowledgeHut is a digital transformation partner to organizations, helping them tackle their most important transformation challenges and capture their greatest opportunities through lean agile approaches. We are a scaled agile platinum SPCT business partner and are ranked among the top 15 global safe enterprise transformation partners. We are one of only 5 in the APAC region offering the full suite of safe capabilities. As Safe Practice Head at upGrad KnowledgeHut, Oskar leads our digital transformation efforts. Prior to this, Oskar has led digital transformations in various organizations, several Fortune 500 companies. He is a Safe SPCT, of course. He's also a Lean Six Sigma Black Belt, a certified profit streams trainer and designer, and he is an expert in Agile for hardware. And as some of you may be aware, early adopters of Agile for hardware like Netflix, Tesla, SpaceX, Google, Amazon are owning big chunks of the market today, and Oskar's expertise is specifically in that space. He is currently consulting with several big organizations, including HSBC in London, and has worked with companies like GSK, with the executives there, with companies like Citibank and Volvo. So I'm really, really excited to dive into this conversation with you, Oskar. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Christabel. Thank you for this invitation, and it is a pleasure to have a conversation with you.
Yes. Oskar, your extensive experience in leading digital transformations is truly, truly impressive. Could you share a bit more about your background and what drives your passion for lead agile transformations?
Thank you, Christabel. And that's a really great question. I believe it was like 5 years ago when Dean Lippingwell, the author of Safe, he already back then said that if we will not do something about the digital transformations within our companies and the most renowned organizations, in the next 10 years or so, we will all be working for those 10 or billionaires or trillionaires around the world. And this is actually what's happening today. So the gap between us, let's say the normal organizations and the tech giants in the world is increasing every day. So many organizations in the world are still counting their deployments in weeks or months or even on the yearly basis. At the same time, the Amazon deploys every 11 seconds. So the gap between us and the tech giants grows quite significantly. And basically, the tech giants like Google, Amazon, and Apple, they have already mastered large-scale software delivery, and they are now moving into traditional businesses. And they are mastering those traditional businesses faster than the traditional businesses are mastering large-scale software delivery. And this is very scary, because if it's going to continue, then basically we will all be working for those organizations. I don't know if it's good or bad, but definitely it's going to be very different from how we operate today. And we still can do something about it, but the main challenge is that the organizations that we see today in the world, they have been not designed to the landscape and to this disruptive environment that we are now facing. And my passion is actually helping people. I love working with processes, but I love working with people more. And I really enjoy working with organizations and making the difference by helping them to transition to the new ways of working, because it's possible and we still have time. The only thing that we need to do is we need to start today, because tomorrow it might be too late for some of the organizations.
Right. Oskar, what are some of the key challenges organizations face when scaling, and how can they overcome these challenges?
Thank you. Another quite significant question. As we already wrote in the invitation, more than 70% of all digital transformations in the world fail. I would even say that from my experience, when we look at the finance sector, the banking sector, more than 90% of the digital transformations fail. So at the very beginning, the organizations are not in the, let's say, the best position to win. And the biggest challenges I see that they are facing is that they are trying to optimize components rather than optimize the whole value stream of their delivery. As you said, and thank you for mentioning this, I'm a Lean Six Sigma Black Belt, and I have been working with lean processes throughout the years. And it's amazing for me to see that many digital or traditional businesses, they are now discovering lean, something which is on the market for more than already well known for more than 50 years. But this is actually good, because if you are going to look at the work, for example, of a very renowned economics doctor, Eliyahu Goldratt, who said those famous words that basically the chain is only as strong as its weakest link. He already in the 80s wrote that at every organization there is a value stream, and in every value stream there is a flow of work, and in this value stream and within this flow there is only one biggest constraint, we would say a bottleneck, and any improvement made to this bottleneck outside of this bottleneck is an illusion. And the biggest challenge that I see is that the organizations are not performing the value stream mapping at the very beginning of their transformation. They do not see the entire value stream, and they are trying to optimize sub-components of the system, which sometimes it doesn't even deliver the desired outcomes. It's even actually dangerous, because making a component that is already efficient more efficient when you have in the downstream, for example, other parts of the system which are already struggling, will do more harm than good. So basically, for me, the biggest value in Scaled Agile is that it is a very well known and tested framework. There is a safe implementation roadmap, and it has been successfully tested in thousands of successful deployments around the world. And there is a really crucial step there, mapping the value stream. So value stream and art identification workshop. Perform this step at the very beginning of your transformation. Break down the organizational silos and try to organize yourself around value. I'm not saying that this is going to affect the entire organization, because we know that for organizations which have more than 100,000 people, this is not suitable. But try to begin there and move gradually through the rest of your systems. So if you are not performing this, if you think that, hey, R&D is a really great place to start the transformation and let's launch an agile release train there, you are basically sub-optimizing components without optimizing the whole system. And in this case, you are lacking the benefits of safe, lean, and those practices at all. And I'm sorry, but if you are not doing this, that I can tell you straight away that your agile transformation is going to fail, it doesn't matter how much money you're going to throw in. It doesn't matter how many people or talented people you are going to throw in. You might already, let's say, throw the towel because you're not going to be successful. I'm sorry.
Right. Very important one over there. And hitting the nail on the head with the value stream, importance of mapping the value stream, which SAFE has a very, very clear roadmap for. Right. What specific actions can leaders take to ensure a smooth transition from team level agile to enterprise level agile?
Oh, thank you, Christabel. Another very important question, and the answer is lean portfolio management. So once again, if you look at the SAFE implementation roadmap, and I will be referring to this roadmap because this is absolutely, it still amazes me after all those years when you have a blueprint and you just need to follow it, how many organizations simply do not, and then they say that SAFE is not working or Agile is not working. If you do not follow the steps, then you might. Why do you expect different outcomes? And my advice would be to start practicing and moving from traditional portfolios, project-based portfolios, to lean portfolio management as soon as possible. And when you look at the SAFE implementation roadmap, in the past, the LPM training was there at the very end of this roadmap. Now it's there at the very beginning. And once again, the reason behind this is that if I do have teams which are working and they are delivering value and they are super effective, how can we make sure that those teams really contribute to the organization's mission and vision? How can we make sure that our team's work is going to align to the strategic teams that we're setting as the organization? How can we know that basically the current way how we do business is changing towards the desired one? And the answer is lean portfolio management. When you are constantly looking at your current portfolio, meaning this is the way how you operate and how you do business today, and you are always thinking about the desired future state. And in this case, you are writing epics, you are writing features, which then obviously are being taken by solution trains or by agile release trains, and then they are being implemented by teams on the team level. This is the traceability that many organizations do lack. And if we perform lean portfolio management and if we implement it from the very beginning, then we have a really great connection between setting up the mission and looking at the mission and the vision of the organization, setting up strategic teams on executive level, connecting those strategic teams to our portfolio, and designing the future state of our portfolio in the portfolio canvas, and then writing those epics, then writing those features which are going to be implemented by those individual teams that move the needle in the right direction. So if you would like to scale, you have to make sure that all the teams will be aligned in working into delivering the desired future state of portfolio. But without LPM or any kind of other ways how you are going to govern this process, this is going to be extremely difficult.
Right. Can you say a bit about the change in how SAFE has laid it out with LPM? Earlier, it used to be one of the latter requirements of the certifications, and now it is one of the earlier ones. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, definitely, Christabel. In the past, it was at the very end, but now we know that we need to adopt it very early. And once again, don't be scared, because I know that some of you who have taken the LPM training, you might say, okay, but Oskar, that's a lot. We are not ready to perform participatory budgeting in the next couple of weeks. Maybe we will not be able to do the participatory budgeting even in the next couple of years. And this is fine. Don't worry about it. So implementing LPM in organization typically takes about a year or longer, and we have to be aware of that. But what are the short-term wins that you can apply and you can leverage them straight away? The first one, I believe, is definitely the portfolio Kanban. So in the past, when we were working in projects, or now still organizations are working in projects, we know that this process is simply unsustainable. And the reason behind this is that many organizations, and it is already mid of March, had not yet finished their planning. They are still planning actually for 2025. So if we are going to continue this process, then maybe we are going to plan for 6 months the projects, and then we are going to execute them for the next 6 months. It doesn't make any sense. So when you will apply the portfolio Kanban, you will have a smooth flow of value, those epics, those which are going to deliver the value through your Kanban system, through the organization, and you will not be having to be dragged down by those constraints that, hey, now we have to now it's the end of the year, and now we have to think about how we are going to set our teams on project base at the beginning of the next year. It's simply not doable and not possible anymore, because the scope and the complexity is already too big, and it's going to be even bigger, and it's going to be even more complicated. So as I already told you, those organizations who have not planned their projects yet, in the future, this process is going to be only much more difficult than it is now. And the next one, also, which I would like to highlight, is that in your portfolio, this allows you to actually make really fast transitions to founding those initiatives that have the highest business impact, or maybe the highest customer impact. So in one of the organizations that I was consulting some time ago, I've asked them the question, if you are, for example, at the end of in Q4 and you have 10 projects that are ongoing, and let's say 9 of those projects are going to deliver 100K to your organization, and there is one that you see that it's going to actually deliver, let's say, 10 million, but it is actually going to be late. Can I simply take the budgets of some of those other projects and transition it to the one that makes the highest business impact? And unfortunately, the answer was absolutely not, because we're already planned till the end of the year, and this is it. Sorry, if you're not making business decisions, if you're making decisions based on how are we actually executing our projects on time, but not on the impact that those projects are giving you, then you are going to fail as an organization in the long run. Lean portfolio management, on the other hand, allows you to have the flexibility to invest more in those initiatives that have the highest return of investment, the highest impact on the customer satisfaction throughout the year. So basically, this is agility at scale.
Yeah. Wow. Most interesting, and I'm sure how the the executive structure and the discussions that happen there when they are focused on lean portfolio management are going to be so much more agile, and not just agile, focused on the greatest return on investment, right? Oskar, what are some assumptions that organizations make about digital transformation that lead to failure?
So at the very beginning of every transformation, we have to obviously think about what are the goals that we are setting for ourselves. And we can look at the example of Nokia, who many don't know that, but already many years ago, before their fall, they were very agile. Actually, and unfortunately, the things that they were measuring were the number of people and teams working in Scrum, number of teams having a Scrum Master, number of teams using story points, etc., etc. So basically, they were looking at the outcomes of the transformation. They were not focusing they were focusing at the outputs of the transformation, not at the desired outcomes. So there is a really great workshop, and I have executed it already several times, and it's called basically measuring business benefits of safe transformation, and it is there, and I would strongly encourage all of you who have not yet performed this workshop to perform this in your organizations if you're working in SAFe as soon as possible. And basically in this workshop, we are trying to map the transformation objectives and the desired transformation outcomes, which should definitely give us faster time to market. They should definitely improve the quality and productivity, and we should also have more happier employees. At the same time, we know that those things do not matter if they do not directly contribute to those business objectives. So during this workshop, we are then trying to map how those transformation objectives are going to affect those desired business outcomes, meaning how are we going to improve our revenue, how are we going to reduce our cost, how are we going to mitigate the risk, and maybe the most important thing of all, how will we make our customers more happy. And then we set up those key transformation results on those transformation objectives, and we try to map those OKRs to those key business results. So I see too many times that the transformations fail because they are not actually delivering the desired business outcomes, which is actually something that we really want. And this is something that we have already talked a little bit about during our previous masterclass, when I've told you that it should be obvious, but the leadership and the business today is really great that we care about those things on the left, like faster time to market, more motivated and happier employees, but without profitability, it's not going to be enough. And obviously, profit is something that fuels our business. Profit is something that keeps the lights on. Profit is something that pays our wages every year and every month. And unfortunately, the biggest challenge that I see is that organizations are setting their transformation goals based on the transformation objectives, but not mapping them to the desired business outcomes. If you're mapping that, change this, and you will be much more successful.
Right. Now, aligning Agile with business goals is crucial. I think you just touched on the profitability part of it, but what would you say is the actual goal of SAFe transformation, and should organizations focus on agility itself? What should the weightage be more on, the agility itself or on profit and cost savings?
Yeah, so thank you, Christabel. Once again, it is not a simple answer, but obviously in SAFe, our ultimate goal for organization is business agility. And if you look at SAFe, obviously it's there at our heart, and customer centricity. So we would like to be able to quickly sense and respond to our customers' needs, and be able to be agile as an organization as a whole, and basically make sure that those needs are going to be satisfied. At the same time, for me, it's a no-brainer that the ultimate goal is to build a sustainable and profitable software profit system, or maybe not even software, because now we know that it's also for not only for the software companies, but definitely building a profit system. Because, and once again, going back to the systems thinking that we were talking about at the very beginning, what is basically profit? And we have to remember that profit is basically a result of a system that delivers the desired value to our customers, and in a way that makes ours different and does it in a different way than the competitors, and definitely creates more revenue than cost. And this is basically the definition of profitability. So I would say that this is also the ultimate goal of SAFe, making sure that we have a sustainable profit system that we can sense and basically also deliver the needs to our customers faster than the competition, in a better way than our competitors, and that definitely the profit that we make from this, we invest in the future state of our portfolio, when we are going to be able to deliver this better and better in the future. And this is one also of the reasons why, if we look at the statistics, more than 90% of all the startups, they go out of the market after the first 3 years. And the reason behind this is that you might have the best product, but if you are not going to build a system around it, and if you are not going to build a sustainable one, how you are going to be successful today, but also how are you going to be successful tomorrow? Because if you have the best product out there in the market, I promise you that next year, all your competitors will have your product as well. So maybe to wrap this up, business agility, definitely. But if you want your organization to be agile, and if you want to apply agility, you have to apply systems thinking, and you have to map your value streams, and you have to basically constantly improve them in time.
Right. Now, moving on to the topic of fostering a strong agile culture. Fostering a strong agile culture is certainly essential for sustaining agile principles at scale. Tell us a little bit about what is the difference between principles and practices when it comes to agile.
Thank you, Christabel. Those of you who have taken the Leading Safe training with me, and I have delivered, I cannot count, but definitely already over 40, but I stopped counting. So I don't know, it might be already more, much more of those trainings know that when we look at lesson number 2, and when we look at the mindset, the core values and the principles, I tell all the leaders that I give this training that this is going to be the most important lesson of all. And the outcome of this lesson is going to decide whether your agile and lean agile transformation is going to be successful or not. And the reason behind this is that if we look at the famous quote of Edward Deming, so the father of lean and Six Sigma, he said already many years ago that the common disease that the most organizations are facing now in the world is the impression that our problems are different. Okay, they are different for sure, but on the other hand, the principles of the lean flow and lean agile development are universal in nature, and they are going to be able to apply in every situation. So whenever I consult, I always say that I have 2 news to the leaders. One is bad, but the other is good. So the bad news is, unfortunately, I'm sorry, but your organization is not special. I wish that you were special, but you are not. And this is the ugly but truth on the other hand, because even if you say that, hey Oskar, but we are working in a highly regulated market, who isn't now? All the organizations in the world are now working in a highly disruptive and regulated market. On the other hand, I have a very good news for you, because if your organization is not special, then the principles which are universal in nature, we simply can apply them at your organization to make your organization successful. And to give you just a very simple example, when we look at our SAFE principles, and when as one of the examples, we would like to work in fast incremental learning cycles. If you understand this principle, and if you understand that the faster, the shorter the loop, the faster the learning, and obviously the faster the organization learns, the more innovative it is. And let's look at one of, or maybe the most now successful organization in the world, which is Google. And Google is also the most innovative organization in the world, and they are learning the fastest comparing to the other organizations. If you know and you understand this, that the only thing that you should be doing when setting up your iteration goals, and it doesn't matter team level, if it's on Agile release train level, if it's on your portfolio level, the only thing that you should be thinking is how fast are we going to learn, how fast are we going to validate our hypothesis, and how fast can we actually apply those learning to get the competitive advantage. If you will know this and if you will understand this, that you will have absolutely no problem with designing the right, for example, length of the sprints of your iterations. At the same time, if you do not understand it, and you mentioned Agile for hardware, and unfortunately I have seen it too many times when we have Agile coaches which tried to force the hardware teams to work in 2 weeks iterations. Doesn't make any sense. And the reason behind this is that most of the hardware teams are not going to be able to deliver anything that they are going to learn from during those 2 weeks. So it might maybe make perfect sense to be applicable in Agile teams who work in 2 weeks iterations. At the same time, in SAP, we have a standard of 3 weeks iterations. And the reason behind this is that we also have this other work that we need to do sometimes at the very beginning, and this is basically a standard. And in Agile for hardware, I would definitely think that maybe 4 to 8 weeks iterations are going to be enough for those teams to learn. So as you can see, this is the main difference. Yeah, the practices, they change because sometimes in Scrum we said that we should be working in 4 weeks iterations. It was okay back then, but now we know that those are too long learning loops, and we would like to prefer working in 2 weeks iterations. And the reason behind this is that we know the principle that stands there. But if you do not understand the principle, and if you are going to simply say, no, the teams should work in 2 weeks iterations no matter what, because it is the standard and how Scrum says so, but you do not understand those principles behind it, you are going to ultimately fail.
Now, I'm just curious now, SAFe has such a solid track record, right? With more than 20,000 organizations that have adopted the framework. And there's so many different stories when you look into it in depth about what has worked and what has not. And the results too, in terms of both profitability, employee happiness, and all of that. So what are some of the resistances that organizations and leaders have when it comes to adopting SAFe as the framework to scale?
Thank you, Christabel. So once again, it's all about breaking out those organizational silos. And unfortunately, for most of the organizations in the world, they have not been designed to operate in such a disruptive market that we see today. And most of the organizations have been designed to based on those departments who have their individual goals, who have their individual bonuses, who have their individual incentives, etc., etc. And but once again, making those silos agile is not going to be helpful. It's not going to deliver the desired outcomes. And SAFe has a really great answer for it because we organize ourselves around the value. And in some of the organizations, when I have launched, for example, a solution train with more than 600 people, we had teams which were based in the United States, in Europe, in India, Korea, and China. So actually, when we performed the PA planning, we were joking that we're literally moving with the sun across the world, and everybody had to plan together. But this is how the value was distributed across the world, and there was simply no other way how to organize ourselves around this value but to bring all those teams and all those geographic regions together. At the same time, people are very much, especially the leaders, focus on saying that, hey, maybe the teams in the United States are going to work as a separate Agile release train, maybe the teams in India will be a separate Agile release train, etc., etc. And now you understand, and you go to the point there. The biggest challenge is that yes, organizations in the past made very let's say, revenue revenue beneficial for them decisions, and they decentralized many of their teams across the world. But now they have to bring them back, and they have to bring them back to those virtual organizations, so agile release trains or solution trains. But this basically means that if I'm the line manager of the team, I'm now moving from being this line manager and telling the people what to do, to basically being a leader and setting up the environment for this agile release train, which is a cross-functional team of teams, and those teams who are working there as cross-functional, setting up the environment to thrive. So I would say that there is a huge resistance out there, but this is the message that I have to the managers. The AI is already there, and AI in many organizations is already performing a lot of those things which managers typically do, like think, can I go and take some leave today, or how I'm being, let's say, how do I perform? In many organizations, AI is already taking up those functions. So I have a message to all the managers in the world. There is no future for managers, but there is definitely future for leaders. So I know that there is a lot of resistance in you, and there is the fear of letting go and decentralizing the decisions making, empowering the teams. But basically, if you as the managers will be doing things that basically manage the team workers, I'm sorry, but AI is already doing this much better. So in the next couple of years, you will not be needed.
That's a powerful one. There's no future for managers, but there is a future for leaders.
Exactly, because all those manual functions that managers do today is already automated and will be automated. But there is still time to evolve. So I don't want you to be scared, but at the same time, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, a huge opportunity there for the taking, if for those who are ready to adapt and embrace.
Yes, exactly. So this is the key message to everybody who's listening. Don't worry, the AI is not going to replace you, but the people who are using AI and who know how to use AI, they will. I promise you. I promise you that.
Yes. All right. So just a quick note to everyone who is live with us. Please feel free to drop in your questions as they pop up in your mind into the chat as well, and we'll keep picking them up as we go along. And all right. This is an interesting one, Oskar. Can you clarify how organizations can create an environment that supports agile principles and ensures that they are not only following practices without really understanding the underlying principles? How can organizations foster this?
Yeah, thank you, Cristobal. So, and once again, we have those 10 safe principles. So you do not have to reinvent the wheel. Just organize yourselves around the value. Just make the business, make the decisions based on the value that and take the economic view of your decisions. Yeah, do not base the milestones. Do not use the milestones, but assume variability and preserve options, etc. So they are definitely there. But another thing to keep in mind is that, for example, Cristobal, you and I could be, for example, consulting for any large organization in the world, and we could be sitting for hours or for days or maybe for months and thinking about the best way how we are going to design the transformation in any organization. And if we would then communicate this on an all hands meeting, the only thing that the people would be hearing are two things. The first thing is that they would be scared. because it would mean that we will be introducing some significant changes. And let's be honest, people do not like change. People are naturally hesitant of those changes. And the second message that they will hear and they will be thinking, how does it affect me? How I will be affected? And if we do not have the answer to those questions, the first one is that, yes, we know that this is going to be a change, but we have thought this over, and we have a really good plan. And we have a really great consulting company, like for example, upGrad, which is going which have the people and the knowledge and the resources to walk you through this. But the next super important thing, and we know that we are going to organize ourselves around the value. Excuse me, and we are going to basically streamline our work, and we are going to make your lives easier. We are going to make your lives better. Remember all those situations when you when you bumped your head against the wall because we had all those unnecessary processes in our organization? Boom, it is gone now, and we are going to help you to be. And we are going to help you to be more successful. We are going to help you to be more satisfied at work. If the people are going to feel that this transformation really drives this, then you will have a chance of being successful. And obviously, now this is this crucial step that we already mentioned, how to tie those transformation objectives to those business objectives, so that we will not only have high-performing agile teams and more motivated people, but we are going to also how this is going to affect our profit streams and how this is going to affect our revenue. So I know that this is all about the winning the hearts and winning the minds of the people that we are trying to transform. And you might say that, yeah, Oskar, this is maybe a little bit more from, let's say, psychological point of view, but isn't transformation everything about psychological safety at the very beginning? You have to make sure that there is psychological safety. You have to also show the people that you understand the principles, not only the practices that you are implementing, and tell them why do you want classical project managers who have been working on those annual projects now to become scrum masters and work on 2 weeks iterations, based on 2 weeks iterations. If as a leader you don't have a good answer for it, then why should people follow you? And maybe the last thing is we need to understand that SAFe is not a bottom-up implemented framework. It is a framework that should be implemented there from the leaders, from the leadership. And the reason behind this is that if we want to really achieve business agility on the organizational level, guess what we will need to do? We'll have to change the system. And who has the authority to change the system? Only the leaders. So if the leaders will not only be, let's say, passengers in this train, if they will not be at the spearhead of this transformation, how this transformation can succeed? It cannot.
Yes. And that's where the portfolio management also ties in very strongly.
Exactly.
Right. All right. Now let's discuss moving from outputs to outcome. What is the difference between outputs and outcomes, and how can organizations make a real impact by focusing on the outcomes?
That's a powerful one, and I believe all of you who that's a powerful one, and I believe all of you who are now writing your projects, defining your projects for 2026, who are writing your OKRs and transformation goals, etc., you are all thinking about the same thing. So basically, the biggest difference is, and once again, this is a totally different way of working. I understand that in the past, when we were working in the classical project management, we were looking at the outputs of our project. What does it mean? It means that we had this classic IAM triangle, and I'm a PMP. I'm PMP certified, and I have been working as a classical project manager for many years in my career, and there is nothing wrong with it. But look look at the main difference behind what are we actually delivering to our customers and to our organization. In the classical project management, we're focusing on the outputs because we're focusing to be on time, on budget, and basically delivered according to the desired scope. But when looking at a famous quote from Eric Ries, the author of the Lean Startup, who already said, if we deliver something that our customers didn't want or they were not satisfied, and did it even matter if we did it on time and on budget? Obviously, the answer is not. So in SAFe, in Agile, and in Lean, we are basically reverting this iron triangle, meaning that the only two things that are set is the time and the budget. Because I'm basically paying you for your teams or Agile release train or solution trains time, and we cannot extend the time of the iteration, and we cannot extend the time of PI. We are planning for example, 10 weeks planning interval, and we know the budget because we are not throwing in people late into the development. We know from Lean and from Agile that this is actually counterproductive, but the only thing that varies is the scope. Yeah. So during this time, I'm trying to maximize the value delivered to our organization, meaning that I'm trying to measure and to show what kind of outcomes I have actually delivered, meaning the customer is satisfied, how much revenue this new feature generate in the first quarter, etc., etc. So basically, the biggest difference between outcomes is that we are delivering according to the iron triangle. The output is that we are delivering to the iron triangle, where on the outcomes, meaning that it doesn't matter how busy you were the entire year, you need to definitely show the difference your work has made to the organization, to the clients, and in case of revenue, risk reduction, customer satisfaction, how your work improved those numbers. And I'm sorry, if you do not have those numbers, or your work didn't achieve those goals, then we have to have a conversation why, and we have to do something about it.
Right. Can you tell us a little bit more about this iron triangle that you were talking about?
Yeah, so in classical project management, we have this iron triangle when we have scope, and we have time, and we have the budget. And basically in the iron triangle, scope is always fixed. So we have a contract, and you say, hey, Oskar, I want you to deliver the scope in, for example, next year. You will have your milestones that you need to achieve, and basically the scope is fixed. On the other hand, the budget and the time, they are flexible because in the worst case scenario, I can have a buffer of, let's say, 20 or 30% of time. Or if I do not have enough budget, I can throw more people into to the project very, very late. But we know that both of those things are, once again, do not make much sense, and they are counterproductive, and we cannot work like this. So in Agile and in Lean, we are reversing this iron triangle, meaning that the time and the budget are fixed, because once again, I'm paying you for the iteration, and I'm paying you for the desired time, but the business value, you need to definitely make sure that you are going to maximize it and deliver the most impactful and important things in the given period of time.
Right. Yeah, I think that pairs nicely with the most important difference in the approach with SAFe versus any other kind of scaling. Right?
Yeah. Yes, definitely. So this is yet another thing. We all, let's be honest. SAFe is used by more at scale, more organizations in the world than all the other scaled frameworks combined. And the reason behind this is exactly this. It focuses on the outcomes, not on the outputs of our work.
Right. Oskar, can you tell us some of the biggest companies that have adopted this? Just give us some of the names that come to mind as exceptional, exceptionally done agile transformations with SAFe.
Yes, definitely. So, for example, in the banking sector, Nordea is a really great bank to give as an example. And I really love about them is that they are actually setting up and positioning themselves as being the most innovative, for example, bank in the world. And obviously, Safe helps them to achieve this, to be faster to market with the most innovative solutions than the other organizations. MetLife, once again, an insurance company, they had a really great initiative, I believe, many years ago when they had an actually Agile release train that was responsible for launching the more and more Agile release trains. What is also quite interesting is that in the Nordics, like for example in Sweden or for example in Denmark, in Holland, SAFe is widely adopted also on the government level. So and this is something that might be also very interesting to the politicians, because being a government agency is nothing different to being actually a normal organization on the market.
Right.
If first of all you are the citizen, if I'm the government organization, that I'm delivering something to you, and if you will not be satisfied with my delivery, guess what you are going to do? You're going to vote for my opponents, and you're going to basically throw me out of business. So this is, I believe, also a really key message to those government agencies and governments worldwide. Adopt Safe for Government. It's there. By the way, we will have a 6.0 Safe for Government training, a new one, which is coming in the next upcoming weeks. Because basically, you do the same things all the other organizations do, including the startups. You are trying to always assess your citizens' needs, and you are definitely trying to make them right. And this is the way how to do this. Also, I did a really cool webinar, and you already mentioned that, and you can take a look at it if you wish to, about the launching the value stream and also the solution train in Volvo, and this is something that is publicly available if you would like to take a look at it there. And this was also another really good example of organization who is doing this.
Right. And for everyone's reference, we have that linked in the notes as well, and also share the link to more notes that we're going to make available on the website. Also, on that note, this is just the start of a series of conversations that Oskar is going to bring to us, and it's going to be in different formats. Some of them are going to be where he dives into the theory of it and really breaks things down for you to understand the various parts of the transformation. We're also going to do it in these kind of chats with inviting other experts as well. So we'd love to have your feedback about this one too. Oskar, before we wind up and we're getting close to that, I would want to touch on the traditional project management roles, right? Like your project managers, program managers, business analysts. Should they be worried?
Yes, definitely. Definitely, because, and once again, people who work with me, they know that I'm totally honest, and I know that many of those things which I say to you are tough, but I personally would like to, if I was a project manager back then, I would like to also hear this sooner than later. And Mick Kirsten already, I believe it was somewhere around 2018, wrote this famous, or 2018, 2019, wrote this famous book, From Project to Product. And basically, yes, now all the organizations in the world are trying to move from this project-based approach to the product-based approach. And the reason behind this is you are facing the same challenges that I see most organizations are. The projects are being being executed very, very slow. We move people to the work, not the other way around. And at the end of the implementation, on many occasions, the projects teams are being disbanded at the time when they are the most productive. And to actually build the budgets for all those projects, it takes months of work and is basically too slow, and it doesn't allow us to respond to opportunities and threats. So what is the future actually for the project managers? It is the role of Scrum Master, who is evolving, and we had a master class about it, how this role is going to evolve into being a blend of a project manager and a Scrum Master, a Scrum Master in the classical one from the Scrum org. At the same time, business analysts, they are evolving to product owners. They are evolving to also UX designers. Now, user experience is driving most of the initiatives because, sorry, I do not care how how technically proficient your let's say solution is. I only care about the usability, and the usability is far more important than the features or than the functionality that the product actually delivers. And at the same time, the role of the product managers, yes, those people who have really a great experience in understanding our customers' needs and driving those agile release trains, driving those solution trains onward. So I would say that, but this is a good position to start, because I would say that maybe the last thing, why many transformations also fail, and I know this is going to be controversial, but this is also because they are led by people who only look at, let's say, the transformation from the agile perspective. I would say that in most of the organizations in the world, we need to understand both worlds, the classical project management world and also the new agile world. And we do not want to throw everything that we know. We want to build upon our practices. So I would say, if you are a classical project manager, do not throw your PMP, but build on top of it. If you are a classical, let's say, business analyst, do not throw anything that you know, but think about how you could evolve into, for example, a UX designer or to a product owner who has all the knowledge and the classical understanding and can help the organization to transition to the new ways of working. I believe that having both experience in both worlds is the most the desired state today.
Right. And also perhaps adopting more of the GenAI productivity aspects into your role.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
For example, in the past, doing a retrospective of 600 or more people, it was first of all very time consuming. At the second time, it sometimes was not even possible to collect and to analyze all this kind of data. Now it is possible. So we can also think about how we are going to leverage the tools into our everydays of working. If you are a product owner, if you are a product manager, what stops you from using Gen AI to help you to write those features and to write those enablers and to write those epics? You are still the driver, you're still making the decisions, but I have tried this on multiple occasions, and I was surprised on, for example, the acceptance criteria, how many of the ones that I haven't taken into consideration, OpenAI helped me to actually generate. So once again, use it to your advantage, but obviously at the very end, you're not copy pasting, hopefully, those things straight away, but you're making those decisions on your own.
Right. Well, thank you, Oskar, for sharing your insights and your expertise with us today. To our audience, please remember, upGrad KnowledgeHut is not just a training provider. We are a transformation partner that can help you to navigate the complexities of digital transformation effectively. And we have an expert like Oskar on board, who brings on board tremendous experience and we together are very excited about what we can do for you. What we will be doing over the next couple of days is, because everyone who's registered for this live event will also receive an email from us with the recording and a limited time coupon for you to check the latest offerings. And Oskar, you have in the next couple of days the advanced SPCT coming up as well. So
yes, advanced SPC is something that is really hot now on the market. So please join me at the upcoming class, because this is something that we lacked in the SAFe community for many years. So how to differentiate yourself on the market. So it took me 3 years to actually finish my SPCT and to become SAFe practice consultant trainer. And obviously 3 years of working, but I was thinking about this way before, and we already knew that the gap between the amount of time and effort it takes to become an SPC and the amount of effort it takes to become SPCT is simply too high. But we also want to make sure that we will allow those of you who are already SPCs and who have already at least 1 year experience and would like to leverage this experience to become advanced SPCs. And there is no better way to differentiate yourself in this disruptive market by doing so. So it's not only to learn, but it's also to make sure that you are going to shine on LinkedIn and also at on your CVs and in your organizations. So yeah, welcome to please be invited to the upcoming training and to the upcoming trainings. And this is actually a very good one. So looking forward to see you there.
Yes, certainly. Thank you, Oskar, for that. And we'll also we will also send this in an email to you with the link to the particular schedules and the programs that are there. But we would be very excited to also talk to you about your transformation challenges and how we might come and help you out over there. And Oskar certainly is super excited to take those conversations forward. All right.
Exactly. If you have any transformation struggles, or you would like to have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and chat together about them, how can we help you? I will be more than happy to help. So just schedule a meeting and let's keep in touch.
Certainly, Oskar. We look forward to that. And let's call it an evening then here in Bangalore and for you over there. All right. Thank you to everyone who's joined us from different parts of the world. Thank you very much. We were really happy to have you, even those who joined us on YouTube. And of course, the recording will be there. And we will also be distributing it in different ways so the conversations reach you. And again, this is just the kickoff of a whole lot of exciting series that we have planned for you. All right. Okay, Oskar, thank you so much and have a good evening.
Thank you, Christabel. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and looking to see you at the trainings. See you soon.
Thank you.
Hey.